Let's say you've got 10 minutes, the urge for mac and cheese, and you really want a Guinness. Well, how about we combine all three of those things into one delicious, quick meal? Let's learn about that on Bob.
No, we're changing that, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. We're changing the name Bob Appetit. We're still figuring out to what, but the fact is that YouTube keeps auto-correcting our channel name to something else. So as witty and fun as I love to play on words, we'll be looking at a couple of different options. All right, on to today's show. Today's recipe owes a huge debt to Frankie from Frankie Cooks and Struggle Meals, and arguably one of my favorite versions of his shows, Frankie's World. In the episode that I've linked down below, Frankie explains his Pasotto technique, which is a pasta cooked in the risotto style, meaning that you use the liquid that you cook your pasta in to become the starch that helps build the sauce that you're going to use for your dish. In particular, he uses this to make a mac and cheese. And he calls out something interesting, that you can use any kind of liquid for it: stock, water, or beer. And I thought to myself, well, if you can use a beer, why not use one of my favorites? And what do I love with Guinness and cheese? A beer cheese. So why not attempt to make a Guinness mac and cheese? So that's what we're gonna try today. Okay, look, I get it. We're asking a lot in this episode. 2 cups of shredded cheese. It's gonna take some time, and I'm lazy. But the fact is, you don't want to use shredded cheese for this recipe, and here's why. If you look at it, this cheese is moist, almost wet. It's pliable, it sticks together, and that's expected from a freshly grated cheese. This cheese here, is it so thick? This cheese here doesn't stick together. Now, that's not natural. Why? They use things like potato starch in the same way that we use flour to keep things like baked goods from sticking together. This is great if you want your cheese to stay individual. And it will still melt pretty well. In some ways, it can melt better than even fresh cheese, but it won't melt together. It will try to retain its shape. That's what it's designed to do. That's how it can stay in this bag. Because we want to make a homogeneous, gooey, stringy cheese for our mac and cheese, we're not going to get that if it's constantly trying to hold its shape. You want the real clumping cheese. Get your pan on high heat and grab 2 tablespoons of butter. Plop it right in there. While that's sizzling and melting down, toss in 1 shallot. There's nothing more basically delicious than butter and shallots. Just so good. Okay, after those have gone for about 1.5 minutes, add in your 3 cloves of garlic. Once that's fragrant, about 30 seconds, go ahead and add in your macaroni. So I know this is a little bit crazy, adding the macaroni without any of the liquid in there yet, but this toasting and glazing it in the butter is part of what's gonna give us a much richer taste and help break down those starches. That is some shiny pasta. Woo, smells so good. Now that our pasta is warmed up, we wanna add in 1/2 cup of stock. I'm using beef stock, but you can use chicken or vegetable stock. Give that a second to cool down the pan, and then we come in with the beautiful black stuff. Just the whole thing, all of it. So the goal here is to get your macaroni covered by the stock and the Guinness. If you notice that it's boiling off too quickly, don't be afraid to add some more stock to make sure that you get the pasta to al dente. 1 for the pot, 1 for me. This is the best way to wait. But don't finish this before the mac's ready. You can already see it as the liquid is boiling here, that the bubbles look to be more thick and viscousy. than you would normally find in boiling water and even boiling beer. And that's because the starches from the macaroni are bleeding out into the liquid, thickening it up, building our own roux inside our beer that is going to help us make the mac and cheese. It's been about 6 minutes. I'm gonna taste my pasta to see if it's al dente. It's got some more time, probably another minute. So what I'm gonna do, because I want a little bit more liquid in this, let's just go ahead and add a little bit more stock. The pasta is now al dente, and we still have a good bit of liquid in there, which is good because that's gonna help our cheese dilute around the macaroni. The first thing we wanna add is a teaspoon of Dijon mustard and a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. For a guy who had, you know, English classmates, you'd think I'd be better at saying that. Then a teaspoon of paprika, and then we've got our 2 cups of cheddar cheese shredded. We're gonna add a couple handfuls of this, and then just get it all up in there. Oh yeah. At this point, turn off your heat, and then start adding the remainder of your cheese. Get out, get out. So you could do different kinds of cheeses to help go with the flavors here. You could try fontina, some Gruyere. You can play around with the different kinds of cheeses. However, since we're doing a mac and beer cheese, I wanted to stick with that nice cheddar-y flavor to go with the Guinness. And at the very end, we're gonna come in with 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. Just gonna add that nice, rich, velvety creaminess to our dish. Then we're gonna top this baby off with some shredded Parmesan cheese. Gonna get a little bit more of that salty, nutty flavor in there. It's gonna go great with that wheat flavor of the Guinness. I hope this works. And then give it a few smooth looking flips. And finally, top it off with a little bit of black pepper. Look at this creamy, velvety, cheesy goodness. Oh, I can't wait to plate. Gotta try now. The creaminess of the cheddar mixing with the nice wheat and bitter flavors of the beer, combining perfectly. The subtle hints of the Worcestershire and the butter, and this just absolutely gooiness surrounding it. One pot, 10, 12 minutes max, and you've got yourself a delicious homemade mac and beer cheese. But my gosh, this is good. You're welcome, Earth. Now, you can top it with whatever you like. Maybe some chives, maybe some bacon, which may come in the future. Right now, I've chosen black pepper and some Parmesan, but you can also choose to have it with a drink of choice. Once again, a huge thank you to Frankie. His link is down below to watch the episode where he explains the Pasotto. 1 pan mac and cheese. What kind of beer would you use in yours? Would you stick with Guinness or try something a little lighter? Leave a comment down below. As always, like and subscribe, hit the bell, slap the hand, do the dance. Be sure to check us out next time on Bob.
No.
Oh yeah. Not that. All right. See you later. Hey. Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know you want this. Nope. Okay.